Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And like we predicted yesterday, it was a windy one out there. As you can see, our Sky-Fi tower camera provided by Localtel is shaking a little bit as we look down at the Wenatchee Valley from the Wenatchee Heights and our cross camera up that way. A few mid-level clouds. You can see them just above the Cascades there off in the distance. But all in all, really wasn't a bad day today with temperatures mainly in the mid to upper 60s, although we did see plenty of wind right around 20 miles an hour for most of the day. We'll talk about when the wind will end, and here you have it right here. It's going to end tomorrow. Less wind for Friday, mostly sunny skies and 68. A little bit cooler then for the weekend. And folks, I hate to tell you, it's just going to be kind of a wet, cloudy weekend. 70% chance of showers on Saturday, a 50% chance late on Sunday. But boy, does the weather get nice by the middle of next week. And we'll talk much more about that coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A motorcyclist killed last Saturday in a head-on collision in Manson has been identified. Okanagan County Sheriff Tony Hawley is the latest to advocate for an easing on the state's public health restrictions. And Chelan County was within its rights to shut down a Malaga cannabis operation in 2017. That's the finding of the State Court of Appeals. But first, we begin tonight. A body believed to be that of 87-year-old Ray Dean Cope was found Wednesday in the burned wreckage of Cope's garage in Waterville. The former auto dealership burned to the ground 1 week ago today. 2 people escaped the fire, but the search for Cope's body was hindered by the instability of the rubble. A search dog and heavy equipment were used in the recovery. The fire marshal's office says the fire appears to have been accidental. Well, a motorcyclist killed last Saturday in a head-on collision in Manson has been identified as 48-year-old Trey Hovinga of Chelan. The accident is still under investigation, but it appears that Hovinga was traveling west on Highway 150 near Key Lane when he crossed the center line and collided with a Jeep Liberty. Hovinga, a father of 3, was a 1989 graduate of Rock Island High School in Rock Island, Illinois. Okanagan County Sheriff Tony Hawley is the latest to advocate for easing on the state's public health restrictions. In an open letter posted online today, Hawley says in his jurisdiction, it's easier for businesses and recreationists to practice social distancing. And he's asked Governor Jay Inslee's office to consider that. Hawley's statement doesn't go as far as the sheriff of Snohomish County, who says he thinks Inslee's COVID-19 orders are unconstitutional. Okanagan County has so far had 16 cases of coronavirus diagnosed among its residents, with none resulting in death. Well, Chelan County was within its rights to shut down a Malaga cannabis operation back in 2017. That's the finding of the State Court of Appeals, which upheld the closure of Seven Hills Farm. Seven Hills tried to show it was an established cannabis operation before the county placed a moratorium on such businesses in 2015 and outlawed most of them a year later. In its ruling today, the higher court said Seven Hills did not obtain a state license to produce marijuana until January of 2016 and never got required county permits for all its structures. As a result, it can't be grandfathered in as a pre-existing business. Coming up next, today would have marked the beginning of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival, and we sat down with Festival Administrator Darcy Christofferson to talk about that. The Okanagan County Electric Co-op must pay the federal government more than $1 million in suppression costs for the deadly 2015 Twisp River fire. 2 separate pole fires knocked out power to Grant County PUD customers Wednesday night and this morning. And Chelan County Sheriff's Chief of Patrol Rick Johnson will officially become East Wenatchee's police chief coming up on June 1st. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
When it comes to finding a memory care community, you want the very best. You want to know that your loved one is safe and receiving compassionate care in a loving environment. Fieldstone Memory Care is an innovative assisted living community designed for those with Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's disease. You'll find a community specifically designed to enrich residents' lives. The Fieldstone team is here to help you navigate the important decisions you face when a loved one has dementia or Alzheimer's. Welcome home to Fieldstone.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Welcome back. And in other news, today was to have been the start of the 101st Apple Blossom Festival in Wenatchee. But with the COVID-19 pandemic having shut down all public gatherings in the state, the food court area remains quiet and there are no chairs lining the parade route. Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Kuntz talked with an emotional festival administrator, Darcy Christofferson, today about the loss of the festival and her hopes for something later this summer.
It's just very surreal and sad, but I do believe that we will have one and we will get through this. We're a tough community, and this community and the sponsors love this festival. So I think no matter if we have one in the summer or if we do have to cancel, we'll survive and we'll have a great one in either 2020 or in 2021. So right now, it's a waiting game. We have 5 different dates in line. There's 2 in June, 1 in July, and 1 in August. And these are dates that we've come up with talking to other vendors, what's happening in their world, would they even be able to come to a festival? So with us talking about it, our dream would still be able to have, oh, sorry, that's my dog. Our dream would be able to have some type of a festival. Our dream would be to have a 10 or 11-day one. But as time is going on, we're kind of thinking the June dates probably aren't going to happen. So we were kind of leaning more towards the August date, where we would still have a luncheon. We'd still have the golf tournament. We'd still have food in the park, arts and crafts, entertainment. And maybe we would have a fun parade, maybe a torchlight parade, and we would honor the little daycares that weren't able to do the youth parade, and maybe they could do, the bands could get together. That's what's hard about having a summer parade, is that, school's out and these bands can't get together and perform or practice. But we're kind of at that point, and I think our community is too, is we don't care what they play. I mean, we just want to see them. We want to be on the curb cheering people on. I would love to honor our seniors and have them, see, now I'm going to get emotional, have them in the parade, in their caps and gowns or in their baseball uniforms. I would love to do that and honor them in August, for sure.
Well, the Okanagan County Electric Co-op must pay the federal government more than $1 million in suppression costs for the deadly 2015 Twisp River fire. U.S. Attorney William Hislop announced the co-op reached a settlement with the U.S. Forest Service to pay the $1.1 million for the fire, sparked in August 2015 when a tree branch contacted one of the co-op's electrical lines. 3 firefighters, Richard Wheeler, Andrew Zajac, and Tom Bazuski, died when the wildfire overran their truck. A 4th, Andrew Lyon, was burned over 70% of his body. The Twisp River fire ultimately burned 12,000 acres of land. The Okanagan County Electric Co-op serves about 3,400 members spread out over 1,200 square miles. Well, two separate pole fires knocked out power to Grant County PUD customers Wednesday night and this morning. First, a pole caught fire near George about 7:25 p.m., causing outages for 82 customers before power was restored just before 10 p.m. Then at 12:39 a.m. Thursday morning, another pole fire near Moses Lake left 933 customers without power. Power for about 780 customers was restored at about 2:50 a.m. and the remainder at 7 o'clock this morning. Christine Pratt of the PUD says most pole fires happen when light to moderate rain falls after a dry spell. Tilling by farmers kicks up dust that settles on wood poles and their metal components, and when the dust gets wet, it becomes a conductor of electricity. Grant PUD is in the process of changing metallic components to polymer ones that do not conduct electricity. It'll take years, however, to change out all the PUD's thousands of poles. Well, Chelan County Sheriff's Chief of Patrol Rick Johnson will officially become East Wenatchee's police chief on June 1st. The City Council unanimously approved Johnson's employment agreement on Tuesday. He replaces Chief Randy Harrison, who steered the East Wenatchee Department for 25 years. Mayor Geraldine Crawford told council members in the meeting, "It's been a long time coming."
It's now official, and we get to move through this process, and of course all of this is contingent on him passing the background and the polygraph and all that, but I see no concerns there, and hopefully everything goes smoothly. This was it was a long process, but I am so looking forward to what the future brings for the police department now, and this is it kind of like I just want to start now, like, okay, meeting's over, we're going to work.
The council approved a package that will pay Johnson $122,000 a year. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's features story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Aging and Adult Care offers many in-home care options and services for seniors and family caregivers. But did you know they also offer free in-home delivered meals? Aging and Adult Care has expanded its program for home-delivered meals to help elderly and vulnerable adults at this challenging time. If you are in need of prepared meals or know someone who could benefit, call Aging and Adult Care for more information about free home-delivered meals. Call 509-886-0700.
Hi, this is Brian Snyder with Black Rock Asphalt Services here in Wenatchee, your local Black Rock seal coat company. Have you looked at your driveway or parking lot lately? Is it gray and oxidized? Does it have cracks that have not been taken care of? Or do you have striping that is pretty much non-existent? Please give us a call locally here, 509-665-9769. Learn more at blackrockasphaltsealcoating.com.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Well, you might think the business of reindeer was restricted to wintertime, but Erica Bowie, manager of the Leavenworth Reindeer Farm, says spring and summer are calving seasons. In tonight's feature story, due to COVID-19, the Chumstick Valley Farm can't welcome visitors to see the new offspring, but they're sharing lots of footage on their Facebook page. Take a look.
We actually have three healthy baby calves here, and we have one more on the way any day, and then another two that will be arriving in May. So far, all three are with their mamas and are doing really great. So the first calf to arrive was from Mama Vixen, and he is a very large bull calf. We named him Forrest because he started running immediately, and we just kept saying, "Run, Forrest, run," and it just made us laugh. So we named him Forrest. Vixen, for the last 3 years, has calved huge babies, record-breaking reindeer babies in the lower 48. A typical calf is between 10 to 12 pounds. This year, her calf was over 19 pounds. So Snowflake was the second mama to give birth. We actually had 2 babies born in one day on Sunday. So Snowflake had a little heifer calf, a little beautiful baby girl, 11 pounds, 1 ounce. And we named her Blizzard, and we're going to call her Blizzy for short. The third mama to give birth later that day, just about 5 hours later, was Belle. And this is the third calf that Belle's had on the farm. She had a girl this year, a heifer calf, 11 pounds, 5 ounces. And we're still thinking about a name for that little girl. We've got a few good names in the running, but nothing is stuck yet. So we closed the farm down just about the same time the hotels closed down, due to coronavirus concerns and social distancing. We just wanted to be extra safe. So we are definitely looking forward to the day when we get to open back up and invite guests back onto the farm again.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. And before we get to those details, as always, let's take a beautiful look outside our weather window. We're traveling up north for our weather segment, and this is our Billy Goat camera looking down at the Columbia River. I believe Brewster, right? Uriah, I believe Brewster here in the middle of the screen. Of course, the mountain range along the Canadian border, Mount Kalispell off in the distance. We did see some mid and high level clouds out there today. Plenty of wind, too, even up in the Omak and Winthrop areas with wind gusts around 25 to 30 miles an hour. High temperature today in the Wenatchee area, unofficially about 67 degrees, and that's a few clicks above where we should be. 64 is our normal high. And by the way, we picked up 8/100ths of an inch of rain yesterday, and that now gets our yearly total. We're still way behind, but it gets our yearly total now to 1.7 inches, and that goes from January 1st to today. And even though I don't have the stats up for you, we had some trouble with the Weather Service website for our climatology figures. I can tell you sunrise around 6 a.m. and sunset now is around 8 p.m. Let's take a look at how your Friday weather forecast is going to shape up. I know lots of you want to get outside and do some things. Tomorrow will be a good day for it. Temperatures will warm up a little bit. 70 for Moses Lake, upper 60s in Ephrata and Quincy. We'll see 68 for Wenatchee, Cashmere 67, and then 68s all the way up the Highway 97 corridor into Omak. So a beautiful day tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, and the good thing about Friday, much less wind. We'll get to that in a second. Tonight now, we can expect clear skies around the area, but it will remain windy around north central Washington with a northwest wind 10 to 20 miles an hour, maybe even gusts to 30. Remember, the pink and red areas, the very windy spots, and we'll see that once again tonight. As I just mentioned, much less wind for Friday. We'll see mostly sunny skies. It will be warmer, a bit of a ridge now building up and over the Pacific Northwest, but there is a storm system just off the coast of Washington State, and as we get into Saturday, that's right, it's going to be a wet one. A 70% chance of rain during the day Saturday, about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch possible. Folks, I think it's going to be a lot like the rain shower activity we had yesterday. As we get into Sunday then, a bit of improvement. I think we'll have a pretty decent day. Mostly cloudy skies, but then a 50% chance for rain late, and you can see this storm system wrapping itself up along the coast. And here's a great view of that frontal boundary right here, and that will continue to move our way as we get into the first part of next week on Monday too. A 40% chance of showers mainly in the morning on Monday, and then partly cloudy skies during the afternoon, during the day. And then I'll tell you what, folks, it's going to really warm up as we get into Tuesday and especially Wednesday. Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. We're talking temperatures mainly in the lower to mid 70s. The mid 70s will be right here down in the Tri-Cities, the usual warm spot around the state. But as we get into Wednesday, unseasonably warm. We're talking 80 degrees down in the Tri-Cities and mid to upper 70s right here in north central Washington. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating and Cooling 7-day forecast. About normal for overnight lows tonight at 43 degrees. Less wind, sunshine, and 68 for our Friday. And then it gets a little bit wet just in time for the weekend. Wouldn't you know it? 70% chance plans for rain on Saturday. Most of the shower activity, keep that in mind on Sunday, will be after dark. So if you do have plans on Sunday, by all means, go ahead and do it. It's going to be a little bit cool at 63. An improvement for Monday and 65. And then things really get nice on Tuesday and Wednesday. 70 for Tuesday and all the way up to 76 for a high temperature on Wednesday. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
The Sangster Motors showroom in Wenatchee continues to be closed temporarily. But did you know that if you're involved in an accident, it's still possible to buy a new vehicle? If you find yourself in that situation, reach out to Sangster Motors and they'll have someone available to help. The service department at Sangster Motors remains open in the event you need a repair. By using the latest guidelines, they can keep you and their staff safe. Pickup and drop off is easy. Call 662-6134.
We appreciate all your business. We appreciate all your support. Everybody stay healthy and God bless you.
This is Caitlin Hedershe, the producer of the NCWLIFE magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCWLIFE magazine right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Thursday to you, staying home and staying healthy. I'm Eric Granstrom on the NCWLIFE channel. Today would have been the first day of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival, so I am wearing my Apple Blossom sweatshirt from a year ago, thinking of Darcy and all the volunteers and the Royal Court and everybody else who's missing out on their festival this year. Well, the Seahawks have been working feverishly to prepare for the NFL draft, which begins tonight in the first round. In fact, it's underway. The work has included technicians installing various equipment in the houses of General Manager John Schneider and head coach Pete Carroll. Both say the challenge of this draft being conducted remotely will certainly be memorable.
We're excited to get going. It's going to be an interesting deal. We had a mock draft yesterday. Started off somewhat shaky, but it ended up going very smooth. So hopefully, it comes off the way it's supposed to, and we're excited to get going.
It's going to be a fascinating experience. We've had tons of drafts over our lifetime that will never be remembered like this one will be, and so we'll hopefully pull it off in great fashion. And we've worked really hard to do that. And as John said, everybody's been contributing, and this is a chance to compete, to figure it out. And so it's been exciting and been cool to see what the process, and we're ready to go.
COVID-19 has created obstacles that teams have had to negotiate around, including the monumental task of evaluating players. Schneider says they've learned a lot from this process.
Our scouts have done a fabulous job. Working the Zoom and Skype and Teams and everything, and really without them traveling, from town to town, with all the pro days that usually go on, they've spent that much more time talking to coaches and talking to the players in particular, and equipment guys at the schools, and administrators and people that are involved in the process. And then our coaches have done a great job with the same, and quizzing the players and seeing where they are mentally.
Pete Carroll's entering his 11th season coaching the Seahawks and says the level of familiarity with his staff has certainly helped in this process.
We feel pretty comfortable right now. We've been Zooming for so long with the staff and all that, and John's been working out with his guys. This is not uncomfortable for us at all. We've been doing it. We've been practicing the whole while, because we're going to be meeting with our players soon in the same format. So I think the understanding, the knowledge, there's an etiquette to talking on Zoom that we've learned about, and I think all of the familiarity helps us, and I don't feel like we're that far out of whack now. I feel like we're ready to go, and so I think the relationships have really helped us in that regard.
Seattle has 7 picks in this year's draft, including the 27th overall here in round 1 tonight. Coverage can be seen on both ESPN and ABC, with the first round getting underway as we speak. Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson appeared on the Colin Cowherd show yesterday on Fox. They first talked about how close Seattle became to the number 1 seed last year in the NFC playoffs, that had it not been for injuries.
Obviously it was tough, going through that last year just because we had a bunch of guys get injured. A lot of great players. I mean, Disley was having a record-breaking year at the beginning of the year. He went down. Then we had a bunch of other guys go down too as well. And then obviously our running backs too as well. And also, you think about our left tackle, Dwayne, he was out for several weeks. So, we had to battle. We kept battling. Honestly, we were a half inch short of really, overcoming the NFC West there at the end.
Yeah.
And, so it was a great matchup, but 2 great teams going after it.
Yeah. How are you? I do worry a little bit, no OTAs, and I strongly doubt we'd have a 4-game preseason this year, but I don't know anything. But you are keeping in great shape because you've got you have the kind of money that you can build your own gym and do your own stuff, and I follow you every day. Are you a little worried about younger players? They may live in an apartment. They don't have the means maybe to have their own gym. Do you think we could have a little bit of an issue on guys coming into camp and Russell, they're just not ready to play?
Oh, for sure. I definitely that's a huge problem, and I think it could be a problem if guys aren't professional enough. And I think the great thing with our team, which I can speak on our team, is I know guys are really professional about their off-season programs and how they're thinking about it, how they're working it, and how they spend their time. And even before this whole Corona thing happened, they were already working. And so that's the great thing. And we've been on a bunch of FaceTime calls and Zoom calls and WebEx calls and everything else, just talking ball already, just us players and stuff like that. And so we're excited. Guys are dialed in that sense and trying to win a championship.
Wilson's been working out at his off-season home in San Diego. Typically, he welcomes teammates and new signees to his place for an intense several-day workout. Due to COVID-19, that will not happen this year. Now, coming up tonight on the NCWLIFE channel, it's hockey night. Our checker has the call at 7 o'clock as the Wenatchee Wild take on the Trail Smoke Eaters in BCHL play. Coming up tomorrow, we're going back to March of 2017 for the great game of our past with Wenatchee and Eastmont boys battling it out in Big 9 soccer. So be sure and tune in for that tomorrow at 7. Then Saturday begins with a great baseball game at Recreation Park between Wenatchee and Eastmont. This is from May of 2017. That starts at 2 o'clock. And then at 7, it's playoff lacrosse from 2017 as the Wenatchee Valley Thunder host Monroe. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And as we leave you tonight, a reminder. Beginning May 1st, anyone launching a boat in the Lake Roosevelt National Recreation Area will need to complete a form indicating their vessel is mussel-free. The National Park Service is requiring the self-reporting forms in an effort to stop the spread of the invasive aquatic species. Quagga and zebra mussels are easily transported by watercraft and can cover surfaces of water, clog boat motors, irrigation systems, and more. It's estimated they do $500 million worth of damage in the country each year. The forms can be found at each boat launch. Now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you very much, Grant. As you know, today was supposed to be the opening day of the 101st Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. We were supposed to have Chief for a day, people hanging around the food fair, entertainment in the park. It's not happening. Of course, the Apple Blossom Festival has been postponed. But tomorrow on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, I'll be talking about the Apple Blossom Festival with the administrator, Darcy Christopherson. We'll be visiting via Skype to talk about what the plans are moving forward for our big springtime party here in the Wenatchee Valley. Darcy will be my guest tomorrow. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to check out the NCW Movie Guide to keep up on what movies are playing in our town.
I'm Carol Andre with Wenatchee Parks and Recreation, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.